Okay, I want to talk about a couple changes that I made. Let's see. Let me. Previously, there was an issue with the create a space where if you clicked on a new space and then if you typed here, and then clicked on one of these things, the fields that you had already populated for name and description, they would disappear. And the way I fixed that was over here in the form component, and the code for the form component. Here, let me close some of these. There we go. It had an update method, but the update would always be creating a new change set. And so what I did now is when you click on one of the templates, it sends a message to the parent, and the parent causes the live component to rerun its update function. It doesn't cause it to rerun the mount function, which isn't even defined in here, but it will cause it to rerun the update function. And because this was happening every time, it would clear out the fields. So what I did here was I would check. I'll check to see if the change set exists in the assignments. And if it doesn't, then I'll create a new one. But if it does, I'll just reuse that one. And that's what keeps those values around. The other thing I did, what else did I do? So let's check the Git status. I removed some of the default Phoenix header literature. So at the top, the header, it no longer puts this in the title, Phoenix Framework in the title. And I remove some of the splash page stuff. Oops. Git diff. Oh yes, the issue with saving a space is that if we need to also add if the action is new, because that's when we want to disable the save button if there's no selected template. But in edit, we're not presenting them with selected template, and selected template will always be nil. So we need to scope this button and disable just to the new action. In fact, let's check to see if when you edit it, it doesn't clear your data. I'll check this in a second. So yeah, more title removal stuff. Remove stuff from the page, the index page, the landing page, and I changed that with just a welcome Phoenix, and I added some links. So if we go here, now we have this link at the top, which brings you just to this page, which I think is the only working page that we have so far. So the thing I wanted to test is right now you have one space, and so in here we'll be able to say repo all space, and you'll see that it has data here. And if we go edit it, we're not presented with a template. And if we just make some changes here and call repo space, that data is not changed. Yep. So those are the improvements. Now I think what we want to work on is this enter a space. That takes you to this experience. And we want to be able to have different templates. So these experiences here can have different templates. We're not using them yet. So this one has, let's say this is the arena. Arena, and this one is the towers. These two are different, but we're not using them yet, so clicking on either of them will just load these this default scene here, which is controlled by coming to the slug experience controller here. Okay, and that just renders this show. So that is in our template here. It puts a new root layout. So I think I want to call this the XR root instead. So this is, let me change that. And then in our layout, let me call this experience into, rename this to XR root. And then I think I want to clear up some of this unused experimental stuff, so I'll remove this. So delete this. And experiment controller, will remove this. And the template for experiment will remove this. The view for the experiment will remove this. And in the router, experiment. Okay, get rid of that. And okay, so this is experience controller. Should we call this space controller? Maybe. Sure, let's call this space controller. Call that space controller. Let's call this space controller. Then in the templates, we'll have to call this, name this space. And in the views, we have to call this space view. And rename this space view. And I think that's everything. So if we rename this, go back to the home page, go to spaces. Okay, helpers experience path. Yes. We gotta change that to space path, I think. So we need to go to the layout. We added this thing. Oh no, that's not the issue. Experience path. Let's do a search. Experience path. Which is not good at finding because the search sucks in my whatever container. Everything dot ex or hex. Oh. Okay, so where is this defined? This is in router helpers experience path under us. Okay, space live index under the space live index. Here we go. Space index path. Oh, here we go. So what is this called now? Mix Phoenix routes. It is called just the space path. Okay, so we have list of spaces, and we can jump into the towers. Come back. Alright, so we rename some things. So the next thing, okay, in order for it to do something different, the data in there has to mean something. Then we have to interpret it and load it. But instead of creating it by hand, I would like to work on the edit page, which we can use to drag and drop elements to create the XML or JSON file that populates that. So I think we need to work on the edit, the flood page. So we can do, and that would be the same page that once you've entered a space that you could click on something and it would bring up an iframe and you can edit your page side by side. I think we create that first, and then the data can be used to power the templates. So let's save our work here, and we'll do that in the next video.